All right, I'm not sure if you paused or not, but hey, who cares? Let's go on. What do you say? Next page. We should be looking at a yellow page, and this is where the block 1 and block 2 are going to pick up, because I need to do 2 different words on this. And please understand, I'm only going to do 2 of the 3 today. There will be a third one, so make sure that you leave a little bit of room on your papers for that third. Now, folks, most of you all know the definition of the word parallel. You have a kind of an intuitive idea of what it's going to be, and that being, we've got to get 2 lines that are running side by side that are never going to cross. First block, second block, we talked about railroad tracks and the fact they have to be parallel. If they're not, bad things happen. So, for parallel, and please remember, with parallel, there's only one pair of double letters, P-A-R-A-L-L-E-L. These are going to be 2 coplanar lines that do not cross. The reason we put the word coplanar in there is to force them to be going the same direction. If lines are not coplanar, they become something completely different. We call that skew, and we'll discuss that in just a second. So, 2 coplanar lines that do not cross. So let's go ahead and draw some. Again, we're going to do our drawn-like side and our written-like side. And if I draw these, I'm going to make a parallel line G and H to be parallel. Now, looking at those, it kind of looks like G is heading a little bit south, and eventually those 2 lines are going to cross. Well, I want to correct that. So what I'm going to do is put arrows in the middle of the lines. And forgive me, those are awful arrows. You know what? Watch this. Pow. Pow. Oh, God, they're all gone. What did I do? G and H? Is that what it was? Just shout it out loud. No, I'm just kidding. I really can't hear you. So, G and H are now parallel. By putting the arrows in the middle, it doesn't matter what your drawing looks like. It forces your lines to be parallel. So, if I were to write it, we're now going over to the other side of the paper, G is parallel to H. G is parallel to H. That's not G11H. That symbol in the middle, 2 vertical lines, means parallel. So G is parallel to H. If we don't draw it, and we don't put a symbol in between, it is not true. We have to force things to be true. So, let's go on. Go up a little bit further. Now, go ahead and draw the line across. The next word is skew, and I think this is where most of the classes should pick up. This is where most classes should pick up. For skew, this is non-coplanar lines. Non-coplanar lines. For instance, in the room, I pointed out to all the classes, line M is in the back corner, back by the door. Line M and the string, line L, are skew. Are they going the same direction? No. But will they cross? No, they still won't cross. They get pretty close while they're inside this room, but beyond that, they just continue out and never touch each other. So skew lines are defined as non-coplanar lines. If they're non-coplanar, that means they can't touch in any way. So this is kind of a different way of drawing something in here, something more complex than we've seen so far. Draw a square, and then kind of up and to the right, draw another square. Then connect front to back, and voila, you have a cube. Technically, it's a rectangular prism, but cube is a generally accepted phrase, I guess. So let's put some letters on this. We're going to do A and B in the front, and C and D in the back. There's no symbol involved here. There's no symbol involved. Instead, we're just going to say AB and CD are skew. Skew, S-K-E-W. Now, this is going to be a word that people tend to forget. They'll remember that, oh yeah, skew is an important idea, but they will lose kind of how to describe it to themselves. So non-coplanar lines, and make sure you remember this drawing because you're going to need it. You're going to need it. We're going to do some worksheets where it says draw these two skew lines. And the best way to do it is just draw a cube and put the letters on the corners. All right, pause for questions if needed. We'll be back in just a minute. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. This will be, I believe, yes, the last page for this lecture. When I come back, I'll start talking more about the flip books, and we'll get more information at that point. So, last, we need to discuss intersections. So, the bottom tab in your flip book, please write down the word intersections. And in geometry, an intersection is just where two things meet. Two things meet. And I'll be honest with you, I'm getting close to the end of the block recording this. If Dr. Williams comes on over the intercom, you're going to hear him. I'll pause it and wait for the announcement, and then we'll come back on. That's just let you know ahead of time in case it happens. Finally, for intersections. First, we're going to look at two lines. How do two lines intersect? And for this, we're just going to draw a couple of lines. And see, I have the nifty tools up here. I'm going to use this. I've got a line there. I've got a line there. Let's get some letters on this. Just keep it easy. A, B, C, D. Where do they intersect? They intersect right there, and we'll call that point E. So for this, line AB and line CD intersect at E. It intersects at E. So the phrase we need, two lines intersect in a point. Two lines intersect in a point. When two lines cross each other, they're going to meet at a single point. Let's go ahead and extend the page. Now, while you're looking at the classroom, look over to your left toward the flag, that entire wall that has D, E, and F. That wall, we're talking about intersection of planes. The wall is a plane, right? That wall intersects the back wall back at line M. We've already talked about M. Plane G and plane H intersect in line M. Two planes always intersect in a line. And here's what it looks like. So first thing, draw a rectangle, kind of tall is the way I normally do it. Now we've got basically a book, right? I'm going to label one of those plane G. I'm going to label the other one plane H. And then, I'm going to get a different color here so it's a little easier to see. We're going to come down through here with the intersection, which is M. And plane G and plane H intersect at H. Two planes always intersect in a line. All right, guys, that's all I have for right now. We're going to get into some midpoints and bisectors soon. We're going to get into equations soon, and lots of angles. So there's still more to come in the flip books, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. If you have any questions, make sure you're discussing it within the group. Guys, have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.